In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a basic garden gate. I'll start by cutting the horizontal pieces. I'm using CLS, which is 89 by 38mm, so cutting it in half gives me the desired size. To skip this step, you can get timber that is already around 45mm square. I wouldn't use any less than 38mm thick though. I moved the table saw fence to 19mm and started cutting the vertical pieces. Again, I'm using CLS, but you can get appropriately sized timber to skip this step. Now it's time to cut everything to length. To save time, I'm using a chop saw, but a hand saw works just as well. The gate I'm making is 197cm wide. The gate is going to be roughly 110cm high, so I'll cut the vertical pieces to 105cm to allow for a gap at the bottom. I space the horizontal pieces 15cm from the top and bottom of the gate. The first vertical piece can then be secured in place with a couple of nails. A nail gun makes it nice and quick, but an old-fashioned hammer and nails works too. Adding the piece at the other end helps to keep the spacing the same. Now it's just a case of adding all the pieces until the gate is full. A 38mm gap for mine worked out really well. I used another piece as a spacer to make the process go quicker. To get the curve on the top of the gate, I added a screw at either end 10cm away from the top and 2 screws at the top in the centre. Then something flexible can be bent between them to give a curve to follow. I used a thin piece of wood. Following a pencil line with a jigsaw gives a nice curve. Again, a handsaw can be used for this too, because the curve is basically a series of straight cuts. For some added strength, I added a diagonal piece and secured it with a couple of screws at both ends. It then gets nails from the other side too. To make the fence more aesthetically pleasing, I used the chamfer bit in the router to ease the edges. Because the gate is quite large, I added a sprung wheel to the end. This will help support the weight. On smaller gates this isn't needed. Last thing to add is the hinges. I used 45cm T-hinges. The gate just needs to be hung in place and it's done. The gate was for my neighbour, so this last image was all I was able to get. I hope you all give this a go for yourselves. It's very simple and you can really have a play around with the sizes and the shapes up top too. Thank you all for watching.